If you want to get in shape, you should follow these principles in your training plan. In this video, I will go over each one of them, and by realizing them, by fully integrating them into your training plan, you will get in amazing shape. How do I know? In the last 3 years, I've managed to get in amazing shape. I used to be fat only 3 years ago, and now I am jacked. Now, the thing is, before I go over them, I just need you to realize that genetics do play a role, a pretty big one. But by having the best training plan that all of these principles are integrated into, you will be able to maximize most of your genetic potential and get in as good of a shape as you can get into. Now the first principle. This is one principle that is very simple to understand, and once you understand it and you implement it in your training, and you understand one aspect of it that is really important, you start to make rapid progress in your training. It is the progressive overload principle. It basically, so you can see it is basically a positive trajectory graph. This principle states that you should get progressively stronger throughout the weeks. Here is one thing about it. It is not just about going and lifting more weights throughout the weeks. It is largely this, right? But one very important aspect of it is intensity. Because if you would go and train with very light weights, for the next following months, you will go and you will just lift them and you will add another rep each and every workout. In a year from now, in a few months from now, you will probably not see a lot of results in terms of muscle growth. You will not grow a lot of muscle, you will not induce a lot of hypertrophy in each one of your workouts, and that is the thing. The progressive overload principle is great, it's awesome. If you will apply it for enough time, your intensity will also become great, even if it is not that great right now. But the best way to implement it is to start with a decent intensity and use it and progressively get stronger throughout the weeks with the same intensity, and then you will see rapid progress. Now the second one. The second principle is very simple and straightforward, and because of that I will just I will give an example of it and I will go on. It is training what you wanna grow. If you wanna grow your biceps, you should train them. You should not necessarily isolate them. Isolating them is great, inducing more volume on a muscle is absolutely awesome and will cause more growth, but you should just engage it in an exercise, get it close to muscular failure intensity, right? And apply the progressive overload principle. And then there is the third thing. It is one thing that is not really about doing more work in the gym, more volume, more intensity. No, it is rest, it is recovery, and it is probably outside of the progressive overload principle and trying what you wanna grow principle, the most important one. It is about everything that you do outside of training. So you have probably heard about the fact that stress management can improve gains, that improving sleep improves gains, that improving a diet improves gains. All of these things are part of recovery. If you don't tick your recovery box off at all, you will not gain muscle. Right? If you will go and train, induce muscle damage, but not recover at all afterwards, so muscle growth largely looks like this. You go, you train, you implement all of the right training principles, you consequently get a bit weaker for the following day or two, and then you get stronger because of a good recovery. When recovery is very bad, a scenario that is almost impossible to get to, it is the kind of scenario you go and drink alcohol with your boys until 3 a.m. and then at 3 a.m. you decide to just not go to sleep, you stay awake, you stay stressed, you overdose caffeine, you don't eat anything. That's the kind of scenario of zero recovery. In this scenario, no muscle growth will occur and you will go catabolic. In most scenarios, you will still recover, you will get a bit stronger, but with the right interventions, with the right amount of sleep, with the good enough diet, you can make more progress. The third principle is about having enough recovery. Now before we click out of this video because of boredom, I've just given you the most important principles, right? I want you to keep watching because in the end of this video, I will give you 2 training plans that follow all of these principles, that by following in your own training, you will get in shape. Now the fourth one. Even though it is not really about what you do in your training, it's not a thing like recovery or progressive overload or train what you wanna grow. So it is part of train what you wanna grow, but it is more important. and it is the cliche one. I know, bro, you have probably heard about it hundreds of times, but what it is consistency. So think about it like this. If you will go and train each time that you need to for the following year, you will get as much results as you can from this training plan, from this level of recovery, from this diet in a year, right? But on the other side, if you will do things with 50% consistency, half of the times you will skip your workouts, you will go to them only half of the times, you will pretty much see half of the results. Not half of the muscle gain, because there is diminishing results when it comes to muscle gain, but you will see half of the results in general. And that is the thing. To get a result from the plan, you need to stick to it. Now the fifth one. It is the periodization principle. So it is the more advanced one. I will touch it lightly because most people don't really need to think about it. Most people, just by having a life, will sometimes skip a workout, will have 80% consistency, and the 20% will serve as a rest period. But I will just touch it lightly. After training consistently hard using the progressive overload principle, and train what you want to grow with a good intensity right hard, you will get very fatigued. So we accumulate one type of fatigue essentially when we train. We accumulate acute fatigue. But this acute fatigue, as we go through the weeks in the training plan, get accumulated as chronic fatigue. To get rid of this chronic fatigue, there is a thing called a deload. We need to do it after a few weeks of accumulating that much fatigue. The sign to do a deload, to take 1 week and either do very light work during this week, do the same, follow the same training plan, but do half of the volume, low intensity kind of training for a week to reduce that fatigue, or just take a week off. The way to know whether you need to do it or not is just by seeing your progression. If you consistently get stronger and the progress that you make don't stagnate at all, it slowly goes down just because of the curve of diminishing results in training. But outside of that, you see a rapid progress, then you don't need to take a deload. But on the other side, if for some days or weeks you don't get stronger anymore, you even get weaker, then that's a sign that for 1 week just take it easy, and the week afterwards you will get back to training and you will continue making progress. Now the sixth bonus thing, it is the training plan themselves. I will give you 2 training plans, one for those who can train only 3 times per week or twice per week, and one for those who want to train 4 times per week. The first one, for those who want to train 4 times per week, is the upper lower one. For the first 1 year of my training, I did this workout plan, I followed it, and I've seen a lot of results, right? But outside of me, if you will follow it, this training plan follows the progressive overload principle, because you train each and every week, right? 4 times per week. This training plan also follows the train what you want to grow principle. When you go through it, you train both your upper and your lower body, and the exercises in it train most muscle groups, if not all of them. If you want to, you can add exercises that will target muscles that don't get targeted by compound exercises, and you will target all of them. This training plan follows the rest principle. You recover the muscles that you train after training them, and it also follows the consistency principle. Most people can train 4 times per week. If you can't train 4 times per week, then here is a training plan for you. It is the normal standard full body split. You can do this split either twice per week or 3 times, depends on how many days you can train. This training plan also follows all of the principles that should get you in great shape, and that's essentially it. If you enjoyed this video, you can like and subscribe. If you wanna get a full course about how to get in shape, you can check out the link in the description. Bye.